If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
Even the wins and the domination are bigger in Texas, especially at a track like COTA. Hey, regardless of what anyone says, there's one thing we can all mutually agree on. NASCAR 100% puts on a way better show at COTA than F1. Then again, with how low the bar is in F1, that's really not too high of a bar to clear. And also, this is a good weekend for me to debut a new background here, because as you see, new flags in the background. Got the whole new HMS gang flag right here of all 4 cars. With the back, and then of course, the new updated Flynn's flag. Because that 269 flag, as good as it was, that was some old shit. Time to bring out the old in with the new. So anyway, let's take a look at how this weekend went. So, starting off, we had the truck race at COTA. And the truck race, well, it had a big storyline right out of the start with 17-year-old Connor Sillich starting on the pole in his Truck Series debut. And good God, Fox Sports was really fucking sucking him off and pulling him, be like, oh my God, he's so great, could he win it his first start because he's on the pole? Fox, I know you're trying to get storylines and headlines, but y'all do know. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. And even though he did contend for much of the race, let's be honest, this truck race was the Corey Haim show from start to finish. He just completely dominated this race. It was just his race to lose. Even though there was a little bit of chaos at certain points in the race, even the truck race getting sent to overtime because of Marco Andretti's rear end coming out on him, heading into the hairpin down the long straightaway. From the furthest point of the start-finish line. Seriously, how the fuck does a rear axle come apart like that on its own without contact? Just, dear God. Like, you picked the fine time to leave me loose. Rear axle. I'm pretty sure that's not how the joke goes, but okay. So yeah, race went to overtime and it didn't matter. Corey Haim won pretty handily. Like I said, it was the Corey Haim show today. As in COTA, it was Haim time in COTA. And for the first time since the Truck Series, since we started going to COTA, Front Row Motorsports' streak of winning 3 straight races at COTA has ended. First time ever that COTA Front Row did not win. They weren't even really a factor in it, as Lane Riggs has looked really pretty bad this year. I set the bar pretty high for him this year. Oof. But yeah, Corey Haim, he's looking to get back that Truck Series title he was fucked out of last year because of the stupid chase format. It's inconsistent bullshit. But yeah, so far, I know it's early in the season, but so far, it's looking like Corey Haim is picking right back up where he left off. And trying to take back what was rightfully his. As yeah, it seems like this year, Corey Haim seems like the man to beat this year. But yeah, at least the truck race wasn't as chaotic as the Xfinity race. Oh man, what a leadway right to the Xfinity race. Did I really plan that? I think I did. But yeah, the Xfinity race, it was kind of chaotic. There was a lot of comers and goers in this race. Like, easily the drivers to beat in this race were easily Allmendinger and Shane Van Gisbergen, aka the Kiwi. As, yeah, well, it's no surprise, and those two are the best drivers on the road courses in the series, so that's not really surprising to say the least. Yeah, those two were the class of the field, and then we had some late race shenanigans that forced the race into overtime. And in overtime, Allmendinger got cleared out by Ty Gibbs, and then another caution came out to force double after Riley Herbst crashed and got leaked fluid on the track on the straightaway, which then forced the race to go to double overtime. And then in double overtime, so entering turn 1, Austin Hill would then do the bump and run on Shane Van Gisbergen. And then Hill would lead, take them into the white flag until they entered, I think it was like turn 16. Until they got to turn 16 where Shane Van Gisbergen would do the bump and run back on Austin Hill. And then both of them would miss the turn entirely once SVG decided he was doing the bump and run. And when he did that, Kyle Larson would take advantage of both of them getting in the piston match, and Larson would take the lead. And then Larson with the last lap pass. Like, Larson didn't even lead a single lap. Even though he started on pole position, he was forced to go to the rear after changing a brake rotor. And then Larson, he only led for 4 fucking corners. And Larson backs his way into an Xfinity win and wins that COTA in double overtime. And gets the HMS 17 car its first ever win in the Xfinity Series. And it's the first win for HMS in an Xfinity race in 15 years. Just to put this in perspective, the last time HMS won an Xfinity race, it was with Tony Stewart at Daytona back in 2009. When Stewart drove that 80 car. It's been that long. But yeah, it's cool to see the 817 HMS car back in victory lane. Like, I believe the last time a 17 car fielded by HMS won a NASCAR race in the top 3 series of any kind, I believe it was Ricky Hendrick's one and only truck series win at Kansas in 2001. So hey, Larson did it for little Ricky. And yeah, you all know it. Larson backed into that win all right. All luck, no skill, baby. And then after the race, then we had Austin Hill getting a little temper tantrum with Shane Van Gisbergen. Even though Austin Hill instigated that thing, instigated the whole thing, and then not taking any responsibility for having his post-race interview, it's like, God damn it. Austin Hill is really trying to rival Denny Hamlin for most unlikable driver in NASCAR. Like, Austin Hill is easily becoming one of the top heels in Xfinity, for sure. Probably one of the top heels in NASCAR. It's like, dude, you instigated the whole thing with Shane Van Gisbergen. You moved him out of the way first. Shane had every right to do that back to you. You did it first, you did it back. There's a reason why NASCAR won't get involved in that. Because it's a self-policing issue. I mean, you race somebody one way, guess how they're gonna fucking race you back when the shoe's on the other foot. And to be honest, Shane and Austin really did nothing wrong. That was just hard racing for the win, and in the end, neither of them ended up coming out on top anyway. Like, the only thing either of them did wrong was Austin Hill's little temper tantrum after. And the fact that coming to the checkered flag, Austin Hill tried the right rear hook Shane Van Gisbergen. No, Austin Hill is not going to get a suspension for that because I'm pretty sure they're not going to suspend him for attempted right hook because there was no actual crash. If there was a crash... So yeah, if anyone's asking, no, I don't think Hill's going to suspension. I don't think he would have got one unless he actually wrecked Shane Van Gisbergen. And in the end, all this wouldn't have even mattered anyway because, hold up, we had a penalty at the end. Beep! Because Shane Van Gisbergen got busted cutting the course in the S's. So that's a 30-second time penalty, forcing SVG to go from 2nd to 27th. So Larson was going to win anyway. But yeah, but Austin and Shane did talk after, and it ended peacefully. Either that or Austin Hill knows not to fuck with a Kiwi. Because everyone knows the golden rule. You don't mess with people from New Zealand. And then there was a little yelling match at the end between Sage Karam and Parker Quickman. But honestly, who really cares? It was just chaos there at the end. But yeah, Larson gets an Xfinity win. But yeah, congrats to the real winner, Austin Hill, I guess. Now we go to the ARCA East season opener at Pensacola and Five Flags Speedway, aka the home of the Snowball Derby. As yeah, this ARCA East race, dear God, you think with the entry fields in ARCA, with them being 40 cars so far through 2 races, you thought part of that would translate well to ARCA East, right? Nope, the field count's still total diarrhea. Only 16 cars in this race, and dear God, this race was horrible. With only 2 cars finishing on the lead lap at the end. Daggum. As for the first half, as for the majority of this race, it looked like it was going to be a carbon copy of last year with William Sololich stinking the show up. just completely dominating for most of this race. Until Sawallich would get caught in some lap traffic, which would allow Giovanni Ruggiero to catch him in lap traffic and would pass him. And even though Giovanni would get caught in lap traffic near the end, it was still not enough for Sawallich to catch him back. And Giovanni Ruggiero holds off Sawallich at the end, and Giovanni gets his first career ARCA East win. So Giovanni Ruggiero is officially a winner in the ARCA East series. And holy shit, William Sawallich isn't complete god in ARCA East yet. Maybe Sawallich will have a real challenge this year for the title. If it ain't Luke Fenhouse. Or Connor Sillich. But yeah, pretty interesting. And yeah. So yeah, Giovanni Ruggiero gets the win. As yeah, ARCA East season is starting underway as a lot of the series, especially the Root series, are starting to get their seasons together now. As we're now entering spring, so yeah, a lot of series are gonna be starting up now in a couple weeks. As now the real racing season truly begins. Oh boy, having to stay up for an F1 race in the land down under in Australia. At 12 in the morning just to see Verstappen win by 20 seconds. Alright, let's just get this recap over quickly. Wait, what? Verstappen didn't win? He lost the lead on lap 2 to Carlos Sainz. And then Verstappen lost the brake rotor on lap 5 and was forced to retire for the first time in 2 years? Oh shit. Oh shit, this is a different kind of F1 race. The racing gods heard our prayers. My prayers have been answered. And yes, the crowd cheered when Verstappen lost the brakes. And honestly, I was cheering too because I was like, yes, now in the weekly recap, I won't have to talk about Verstappen winning another F1 race this week. Now I can talk about somebody else for a goddamn change. And wait a second, Ferrari was leading? Oh shit, quickly, give me my fucking Ferrari pit shirt. Give it quickly. Now, quickly. There we go, that's better now. Man, I knew buying this Ferrari pit shirt was a good idea and to replace that fucking cursed one I got from Toronto 2 years ago. I knew buying a Ferrari pit shirt on eBay from Sweden was a good idea. All this shirt has done is brought good luck to Ferrari since I bought it. You know, Charles Leclerc podium, plus Oliver Behrman getting points in his F1 debut 2 weeks ago in Saudi Arabia, and then this week. And to be honest, once Verstappen got DNF'd out of the race, it really wasn't that much entertaining after that. Not a whole lot really happened outside of Lewis Hamilton blowing his engine on lap 17. So yeah, the one time Verstappen didn't win, him and Lewis Hamilton both DNF out in the same race. It's also the second time ever in F1 history that two multi-time world champions DNF'd in the same F1 race. And plus, when you look at the finishing results and see Verstappen and Hamilton at the very bottom, you would think this was a race in 2021 with that intense championship battle they had nearly 2.5 years ago. But no, it's 2024, not 2021. But yeah, and really, it was really the Ferrari show, mainly Carlos Sainz. As the only real other driver that could contend with the Ferraris was McLaren and Oscar Piastri, until he was forced to give up third place to Lando Norris because F1 team orders. Team orders, once again, ruining the race again. Team orders are bad for the sport. It's just a bunch of fucking politics. Just like what happened at Williams this week when Logan Sargent was forced out of his ride for Alex Albon because Albon lost his talent in practice and destroyed the car. And of course, Albon is gonna get priority because he's the #1 driver. So yeah, politics ruin everything. Yeah, lesson here: politics ruin everything in sports. But yeah, anyway, back to the race though. And the race though, the boring race had a bit of an anticlimactic ending, with George Russell crashing out on the last lap when he went to gravel pit, and then he would have two tires go underneath the car as he spin out and into the long straightaway. And nearly even flipping the car too once both tires went underneath, which forced the race to enter the safety car on the last lap. So yeah, Carlos Sainz gets his third career win with Ferrari. It's a Ferrari 1-2, and Lando Norris rounds out the podium. So it's the GOAT podium, the Ferrari Carlando. Yay. This was a great podium. The race sucked in itself, but hey, at least we had somebody new win for a change. And hey, plus with Sainz winning, it makes for a good story too. Considering that this was Carlos Sainz's first race back in F1, since he had his appendix removed before Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago. Like, hell, Sainz wasn't even 100% throughout the weekend. Like, the only time he looked 100% was once he got inside the fucking car. And he goes and wins. So yeah, lesson here in F1. You want to beat Max Verstappen? Just have your appendix removed. That seems to work out well. Oh, God, no. I think Max Verstappen's probably going to have his appendix removed, too, to try and keep himself on top. Dear God. But I mean, hey, maybe removing your appendix is a good idea. It worked with Carlos. But yeah, why do I get a gut feeling that Ferrari's going to getting rid of the wrong driver for Lewis to make room for Lewis Hamilton. But yeah, and here's the crazy thing about all three of Carlos Sainz's career wins in F1. All three of his wins didn't have Max Verstappen finish on the podium, and all three wins resulted in George Russell either crashing on the first lap or the last lap. Okay, that second fact is kind of fucking scary. That all three of Sainz's wins happened in races that Russell crashed out in. Oof. But yeah, the race sucked in itself, but hey, at least Verstappen didn't win for a change, so that's always a positive. Plus, any day the Ferrari, the prancing horses, the Italian stallions win is always a good day. Grazie ragazzi, forza Ferrari. Wait, there was an IndyCar race this week? I thought they didn't have a points race until Long Beach in April. Oh yeah, that's right. It was the thermal $1 million challenge shit race that they were going to have, that meaningless exhibition. You really think I'm going to waste my time with this? Fuck no. Why the fuck would I waste my time on a meaningless exhibition race? Like, I don't even do recaps for the Clash or the All-Star race anymore for Cup because because those races mean fucking nothing. What makes you think a meaningless IndyCar exhibition race is gonna make a difference? And honestly, I didn't fucking care for this race. I forgot this race even existed this year. Because IndyCar didn't even fucking market it well. And I'm a fucking IndyCar diehard, and I didn't even forgot this race still existed. Honestly, if IndyCar gets rid of this race after 1 year because no one really gave a fuck about it, I don't think anyone would care if IndyCar stopped doing it and it's a one and done. Honestly, it'd be a good riddance because it'll just be like the All-Star race in NASCAR. It'll just become a test session for shit that that IndyCar wants to throw out in the future. Just like how the Clash and the All-Star race have become test sessions for shit that NASCAR wants to run in the future. You want to know how it's a test session in NASCAR? Let me name 5 or 6 things that have been done in the All-Star race that are done in NASCAR now today. Alternate paint schemes, double file restarts, green-white checkers, stage racing, numbers not in the middle of the door, either on the rear, near the right rear tire or the left front tire, or the rear front tire. That number placement. And of course, don't forget that 2018 All-Star race where they ran the Super Speedway package there. And oh yeah, that All-Star race in 2018 gave birth to the 550 horsepower package that NASCAR would run for 3 years. Yeah, if you want to blame any moment for the 550 horsepower package, blame the 2018 All-Star race for that. Or you can thank them for that. Like, honestly, we're just skipping this IndyCar race all entirely. Wake me up when the real racing returns at Long Beach in April next month. Alright, now we get to the Cup race at COTA. And of course, the Cup race at COTA, a race a lot of us dread. Not because of the track or the racing itself. It's because stage cautions are back. And oh, by the way, the stage cautions, they were the only cautions in this race. No cautions for debris, rain, or hell, even a crash or a spin, or none of that shit. The only cautions were for stage cautions. So yeah, if we didn't have stage cautions, this race more than likely would have gone caution-free. Probably not, because let's be honest, the stage cautions just replaced the fucking phantom bullshit debris cautions. So yeah, even if we didn't have the stage cautions, NASCAR still would have thrown cautions at certain other points in the race anyway, and just be the phantom debris cautions coming back. Because that's what the stage cautions effectively are, is just phantom debris cautions. And really, it was somewhat of a strategy race. Like, to be honest, though, this race was the William Byron show from start to finish from pole. Like, the only drivers that had a shot at competing with Byron was the Toyotas of Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. Especially Bell at the end, when Bell had 5 laps fresher tires, when Bell tried to stay out a little longer on strategy to try to get some fresh tires. As Bell did almost come close to winning this race. Like, Bell was running Byron down, but part of that was because Byron was saving gas at the end, in which Byron's fuel tank lived. And even despite Christopher Bell's best efforts, it was not enough to catch William Byron at the end, as Bell was able to get it close to about 0.8 of a second by the end of the race, but that was as close as Bell could get to Byron at the end, as William Byron dominates and wins at COTA and gets his second career road course win, this 12th career win. Byron gets the win at COTA. And Byron now gets his second win of the season. So Byron, for the third year in a row, he's the first driver to win at least 2 or more races in the season. Because 2021, he was the first driver to win. 2022, he was the first driver to win 2 races. Last year, he was the first to win 2 races. And now this year, he's the first to win 2 races. Yeah, I think it's safe to say Byron has really found his groove, though. And here's the shocking part. Those 3 years that Byron got his 2 wins to start the season, all 3 of those years, they all came within the first 6 or 7 races of the season. So yeah, usually when William Byron is on his point, usually Byron is pretty good at starting early in the year. Now the question is, can he finish it? Well, we will find out if he can get back that title he was fucked and robbed out of last year because of the stupid chase format's inconsistency and bullshit. As for the second year in a row, William Byron is officially the first driver to punch his ticket to the 2024 Cup Series chase. So in September, William Byron will have a chance to take back what was rightfully his that was taken away from him in 2023, the Bill France Cup. So yeah, now we have 1 spot decided near the end of March, and 15 spots still remain. And once again, another reason why the fucking winning you're in stipulation for the chase is fucking stupid. Because now if you're a Byron fan, what's the fucking point of watching for the next 20 weeks? When he's guaranteed a spot in no matter what. Like, honestly, now the rest of Byron's season's pretty meaningless now until September once we get to Atlanta. It's just pretty meaningless from here on out. Like, pray for Byron, every race from here to Atlanta now, it's just a test and tune-up session for the fall. Like, at this point, it really means nothing else to him, especially when winning is the only thing that matters under this format. Then again, the whole chase format itself is fucking stupid. Yeah, stupid fucking chase format. It's inconsistent bullshit. But yeah, maybe this time Byron can finish the job this time. And maybe this time he won't get robbed out of the fucking championship this time. We will find out though in the fall if that will be the case or not. But yeah, so far Byron looking like he has some speed pretty early on in the season, which is very good to see here. And HMS looking like the team to beat early on too, even though Joe Gibbs has really put some pressure on too. As this year it's looking like it's going to be HMS versus JGR this year. Because HMS and JGR, they've combined to now win 5 of the first 6 races this year. Yeah, the only race that an HMS or JGR car didn't win was the Atlanta when Suarez got that win in the 3-wide photo finish. Every other race this year has been won by either an HMS Chevy or a JGR Toyota. And a lot of people are going to shit on this race just because an HMS car won. And because COTA started off as an F1 track. Let's be honest, the only reason anybody fucking hates COTA is because a lot of people let F1 live so rent-free in their head. Like, they hate COTA so much because they're so sweet in the cheek on F1. Which, let's be honest, though. Regardless of what everyone says, we can all mutually agree NASCAR puts on a better show at COTA than F1. Unless F1 can get a better... I mean, that was until, like, 2014 on, once we entered the hybrid era of F1. Like, before that, F1 put on some pretty solid shows at COTA. But, I don't know, without a load of bars, especially with Max Verstappen winning nearly every week, and which that isn't too far from the truth, considering that Verstappen's won 18 of the last 20 F1 races. Like, the 2 times Verstappen didn't win, Carlos Sainz and Ferrari won. Yeah, the 2 times where Ferrari didn't fuck up the pit strategy. Okay, to be honest, Ferrari hasn't really done anything stupid in pit strategy this year so far in F1. They just simply haven't been good enough to beat Verstappen until Australia. We'll see if it translates in Japan when Verstappen doesn't have a mechanical issue. But yeah, honestly, I don't mind road course races. I always fucking love COTA. I was glad when they brought COTA to the Cup schedule in 2021. And to be honest, I'm glad we didn't have a race full of chaos like in Xfinity and trucks. But everyone gonna shit and cry about this race. Because, there was no crashes in this race because the only cautions in this race were for the stage cautions. Like, it's literally gonna become, it's like literally all the Darth crybabies that cried about fucking Watkins Glen in Indianapolis last year for having 1 caution each are gonna fucking cry and complain about this race for not having any crashes. And with the race being as it did, this race proves one thing. That the lack of stage cautions last year was not the problem on road courses. It was more so the package itself. And the car just not being good enough on road courses. Like, you want a better option? Run better on road courses. Plus, for everyone crying about how many road courses we have on the schedule, bitch, there's like 5 road courses on the schedule. Compared to 31 oval races. For everyone complaining about the road that hates the road courses, bitch, you have your fucking weekends 31 times out of 36 weeks. You have your weekends for 31 out of 36 races. You can let somebody else have their weekend for 5 out of 36, you fucking spoiled, ungrateful, entitled brats. Fuck, I'll tell you right now, in terms of that Iceberg video did about NASCAR fans being spoiled, entitled brats, I'll be honest, he isn't too far from the truth. Especially with how many people bitch and complain about road course racing. It isn't too far from the truth, especially with how much this fan base acts like a bunch of spoiled and entitled brats. Especially if we bring up the idea of taking a date away from Bristol. Because, oh god, or taking a date away from Daytona or Talladega or Atlanta. Because those spoiled brats, they'll be like, oh, you could take a race away from any other track. But once you mention taking a date away from Daytona or Talladega, they'll be like, whoa, too far. But yeah, honestly, I hope they keep going to COTA. We need more track variety on the track and schedule. Plus, I don't feel having too many more road courses on a schedule is a bad thing. I don't know why other people in the fan base think that's a bad thing. Oh yeah, that's right, because they all let F1 live so rent-free in their fucking head. Like, goddamn, maybe someday we can have a fan base that doesn't let other fucking motorsports that run on road courses and street circuits live rent-free in their heads. I don't know, if you want to really improve the racing on the road courses with this next-gen car, maybe they should take lessons from other NASCAR sanctioned series that run on road courses. Cough, the Canada Series, formerly the Penny Series, because that series always puts on good road course racing. And oh, by the way, the first Penny/Canada Series race I'm attending this year in May is a road course race at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in May. So yeah, there's a little plug for a future vlog coming up in a couple months for you. But yeah. Anyway, I think that wraps it up. Byron gets the win. in a very uneventful race. But hey, you know, you're going to have races like that. Not every race is going to be the fucking Daytona 500. Like, honestly, having races like this isn't a bad thing. And if anybody thinks it's a bad thing, then go fucking watch something else. Like, if you don't like it, like, everybody that hates road course racing, if you don't like it, then don't watch. Then don't watch. Go watch drag racing or something, or go back to WWE or wherever fucking hole you all crowd out of. God damn. Is this fan base always going to continue having Darth crybabies in it? Like, I miss the days when the NASCAR community was a real fucking community and not full of a bunch of fucking Darth crybabies. But hey, despite that, at least HMS won. HMS continues to reign supreme over the masses. Win 304 as the road to 350 rolls on. I'm out. On to Richmond next week on Easter.